Hi everybody, and welcome back for the second edition of my vegan cooking series. This week I'm really excited to share with you one of my favorite dishes to make that is really healthy and has so many great ingredients in it. I'm going to be making a simple rice with beans and kale dish. Kale is one of my favorite foods. Dark leafy greens are one of the healthiest things that you can eat. Just to talk a little bit about what the benefits of eating kale are. It's a low calorie, high fiber food that has zero fat. It's high in iron, vitamin K, antioxidants. It's an anti-inflammatory food. It is great for cardiovascular support. It has vitamin A, C, E, calcium, and it's a detoxifying food. So all kinds of great stuff you get by eating kale. People who are trying to lose weight, people who are struggling with their health, or people who just want to generally maintain a great level of health and wellness, I recommend eating kale and all kinds of leafy greens every day. I eat arugula, I eat kale, I eat spinach, asparagus. Anything that's green is something that is definitely helping you if you eat it on a daily basis. One of the other things we're going to be eating today in our meal is white kidney beans, otherwise known as cannellini beans you can buy. I was trying to get the organic cannellini beans at Trader Joe's, but all they had was these regular ones, so we're just going to go with it for now. But yeah, these, if you read the back, you have 8 grams of protein per half cup. So in one can, you have 24 grams of protein in one can, and we're going to use about half a can for just enough to make servings for myself. So that's a lot of protein for what we're going to make. I also got this organic virgin coconut oil, if everybody can read the label. I got this at Trader Joe's as well. I think it was about $5.99. Not too bad. I really recommend Trader Joe's for affordable vegetarian shopping. They have a lot of great options in bulk for cheaper. One large zucchini. These are also organic. I got a whole bunch of them over there today. 2 small or large lemons, doesn't matter. 1 organic tomato. If it's a large tomato, that should be good enough. Once again, if you are looking to cook for a larger portions for a big family or many people, you may want to use more. So just whatever I show you is mainly just for me and maybe one other person, or me and some leftovers tomorrow. So the portion sizes are really up to you, depending on how many people you need to feed, or what you feel is appropriate amount of food for yourself. I got 1 large bag of organic peas. This is going to go in our rice. And also a box of jalapeno peppers, which are optional. I'm going to show you how to use these in this dish if you like spicy. Okay, so what we're going to start with doing is cooking the rice first. You can either use white rice, which I had a bulk of white rice that I keep just in a plastic container here, or you can use brown rice if you want to go for something really a lot healthier. Brown rice has a lot of fiber and vitamins, and really helps with your digestion. I'm going to use white rice today because I just feel that this dish tastes a lot better with it, and for the sake of tasting good and switching it up, because I eat a lot of brown rice, I'm just going to make it with white rice today. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is cook the rice, because that's what generally takes the longest to cook. Brown rice is about 40 minutes cooking time. White rice is a little faster, so if time is something that you're worried about, if you're on a lunch break and you only have an hour to cook, you might want to go with white rice instead of brown rice. And also, if you want to eat a lot of brown rice, you might want to think about cooking in advance. Sometimes I will make a pot of brown rice when I'm not even hungry, and I just keep it in the fridge so that I have it already prepared for the next 2 or 3 days. So we're going to start with the white rice. I'm not making a big portion once again, so I'm just going to measure out whatever's here in this container. I'm going to bring it down so you can see. Okay, so I'm just going to measure whatever's here in the container into a cup I have. It looks like it's about half the cup. So we're just going to take that. You back up. Put it into the pot. And then with white or brown rice, you have to add double the water to what the measurement of rice is. So I just eyeball it. Like you can do it 1 cup to 2 cups, however you want to do it. I tend to put more water than what is equal parts because a lot of the time rice comes out too firm, the water boils off, and the worst thing is that really hard grainy rice. So I always put a little bit more water than what you might think you need. And yeah, so I'm going to add that water and turn the temperature on high as you're going to need to boil your rice. So we've put the rice on. You're going to boil your rice on high. So that's all you're going to really need to do for now. The coconut oil is going to be put into the rice. So what I'm going to do right now, because it doesn't really matter when you add it, is I'm going to add the coconut oil to the rice mixture. I'm just going to take, this is like a tablespoon, you could use a teaspoon too. Just take, I would say, about that much coconut oil. You could put a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how strong you want the flavor to be, how much you like coconut oil. It's going to make the rice a little bit oily, obviously, but it's actually really tasty. So I'm just going to stir that in. The water's not hot yet, so it's not going to melt right away, but you just stir the coconut oil in. And we can move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is get ready to make our kale. The kale is one of the easier things to make in this dish, so I'm going to make it first and then set it aside so that we can get going on the other dish. This is really simple. There's different ways to make it. Sometimes I make it with ginger if I want a little extra little kick to the meal, or I make it with just lemons and oil, which is what I'm going to do today. So you're just going to open your bag of kale. So I keep forgetting to step back because I remember the last video, my head was cut off. Okay, so you're just going to take the kale, pour it into your pot, however much you want. I recommend filling the pot up to the top with kale. So in other words, fill the pot up all the way to the top with kale because kale condenses. So in other words, like a lot of other vegetables, once you start cooking it, it's going to shrink. So what you see is about 4 times the size of what you're really going to get when it's finished. Okay, with the kale, I'm going to also use coconut oil because it's really tasty with kale. So I'm just going to take the same amount of coconut oil, about that much, drop it in there. Turn it on. And now you can add water, or you can do what I'm about to do and just add lemon to your dish. So you're just going to take your lemons, cut them in half or into quarters. Take the little seeds out unless you don't mind having seeds in your dish, and squeeze them into your dish. These are really small lemons, so yeah, you need like about 2 to make this dish, or more. If you like a really lemony flavor, you could do a lot more. So, here we go. Squeeze the lemons. Lemons are really good for weight loss. They have vitamin C in them. The kale also has so many good vitamins. This is an amazing dish. If you add ginger to it, it kicks it up into an even higher caliber where you have the digestive aids. The nutrition of the ginger and the kale mixed together is really amazing. So, that's all done. I'm going to add a little bit of our Bragg's liquid aminos, which you can see up close, to the kale mixture too. It tastes really good with the kale, lemon, olive oil. I don't want to use too much because it is a strong flavor and I don't want the dish to get salty. All right, so our rice is already boiling. As you can see, this dish is quick. It makes really fast. So if you need a meal in less than an hour, this is a perfect option. So I'm going to turn my rice down to the lowest temperature you can get it on without turning it off. Take the lid, put it over the top, and that should be about 10 minutes to cook. So in the meantime, we're going to let our kale cook. I'm going to turn the kale down to a low temperature. Something I wanted to add about the rice, if you're interested in doing it, is spice. If you want to make your rice a little bit spicy, you can do that by adding a jalapeno or habanero pepper to it. I kind of like spicy dishes, so I'm going to go for it. What I recommend for this is, depending on how spicy your pepper is, don't chop it up. Just slice it into pieces. So I'm just going to slice this one jalapeno up. I'm going to take these 3 pieces. This particular one doesn't seem to be super spicy. I usually use habanero. Oh yeah, it's not spicy at all. All right, so whatever the case, it's not that spicy. I'm just gonna take these 3 chunks, throw them into the rice, mix it up a little bit. Not too much. You don't want the water to evaporate out of the pot. You want to keep the lid on there pretty tight while it's cooking so you don't lose the moisture of the rice. So we're going to start on our next part of the dish. By the way, I've turned off the heat on my greens because they cook pretty quickly. If you want to look, they're already all mixed up and steamed up and pretty much done. That's why we're going to start on the second portion of our meal, which is the zucchini, tomato, and beans. So you're going to want to open your can of beans, and you're going to want to cut up your zucchini. It's pretty easy. Zucchini is one of the easiest things to cook. It cooks fast, it tastes delicious, it goes with a lot of different things. So I'm just going to cut it down straight like that, and then I'm going to cut them in half. Actually, I want my zucchini to be kind of small in this dish. So there you go. You have your zucchini chopped up into small pieces. You're going to take your can of beans. I'm really bad with can openers. Or this can opener is really bad with me. Okay. Open your can of beans. Okay, and also slice up your tomato. I'd like to add that this meal is really light. I made it the other day for dinner and I noticed that it didn't make me feel really full even though I ate a lot of it, and then the next day when I woke up, my stomach was flat. It didn't give me any kind of bloating or indigestion at all. Okay, so something else you can do is add peas to your rice. Peas are also full of protein and fiber and all that great stuff that we need to have energy to work out and be strong every day. So you can add the peas, keep an eye on the rice. And when the rice starts to look like it's almost done, that's when you're going to add the peas. You don't want to bring the temperature of the rice down too much by adding the frozen peas, but you want the peas to have enough time to cook. So what we're going to do with this now at this point is take the greens out of the pot. I'm just going to throw them in a plastic container for now. Take the greens out of the pot. You can either put them in your serving dish or put them in a plastic container like I'm doing over here. And the next thing you're going to do is get ready to make your simple ratatouille, we'll call it. It's just a zucchini dish. I'm going to pour a little bit of olive oil into the pan. Add my zucchini to the bowl. Turn it on high or medium heat. Zucchini cooks pretty quickly, so you can probably just leave it over the heat for a few minutes until it softens before you move on to add your tomatoes and beans. I think we're up to like 10-15 minutes here and our dish is almost done. So as you can see, this is a really fast, simple, inexpensive dish. I really didn't spend that much to buy the ingredients for this. I really didn't need a lot to make it. And it's going to be delicious and have all the nutrients that you need to have in one meal without eating any meat or dairy or anything like that. So the zucchini is here. It's cooking. You understand you're going to want to mush it around a little bit, swish it around a little bit so that it won't burn. They'll evenly coat with the olive oil. In the meantime, I'm going to check on my rice because it looks like my rice is almost completely done. I'm going to take, just say like a 1/4 cup of peas. Add them to my rice on the top. And I'm just going to cover it right back up. But you really don't need to mix the peas. The steam from the rice is going to cook it enough that the peas will be done. I'm going to put these back in the freezer. Come back to my zucchini. Like I'm saying, maybe only a minute or two to saute the zucchini. It cooks faster than the tomatoes and the beans, but it doesn't take that long to cook. What else we could talk about? Last night I was going to make you guys a video about how to make a butternut squash lasagna. Unfortunately, it turned into more of a butternut squash goulash. It didn't really work, unfortunately. I really want to bring you guys some more advanced recipes in the future, but for now I think I'm just going to stick with these really simple things for people who are new to vegetarian eating, healthy eating, and make it also so you understand that it can be affordable, because that seems to be a big issue for a lot of people, or something that they're concerned about, feeding their whole family and doing it on a budget. So a lot of good things to come. Okay, so the zucchini appears to be softening up and looking better. Getting to where we want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm only going to eat about half these beans because I don't think that I really need a whole can in this dish. Yeah. A little bean goes a long way. So I did about a half a can of the beans, and now I'm going to add my tomatoes. This dish too. There we go. If you want to jazz this up a little bit, you could add onions to it. You could add cilantro to it. You could add basil to it. You could add any number of herbs. I'm going to keep it really simple for today's purposes so that, everybody gets the idea. Those are just some extra things you could do to it to make it a little bit better. Okay, so this is what our finished product looks like. I'm going to bring the camera down just so you guys can see. This is what our finished dish is going to look like. You have your kale with lemon. I put a little bit of sesame seeds over the top. I'm out right now, so I can't do that. Your rice and peas, and your beans with zucchini and tomatoes. If you want to make it a little spicier, you could add like one of those red Thai sauces to it. I personally like it just like this, or with a little salad on the side. And that's it. This is a really simple dish. Like I said, I'm going to get into some more intricate recipes for you guys in the future. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's something you guys could all make and feel good about. Yeah, so that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye.